My name is Edward Sapiano, and I'm a lawyer. When I graduated from law school 13 years ago, I thought I had paid my dues, but the hardest part was still to come.
We're going to watch 4 aspiring lawyers in a 12-month test by fire called articling. Will they crash and burn, or be transformed into the real thing? Quinn Ross is incredibly driven. But instead of big money law firms, he's opted for quality of life. He's chosen to live and work with his parents in a rural law firm.
I don't want to look like an ass in front of my parents' colleagues.
But Quinn loves a challenge.
It's wartime, it's go time.
Can a small town serve Quinn's ambitions? Or will his goals change? Aisha Chaudry is a recent immigrant with 2 preschool children. She lives with her husband's extended family.
I'm misbehaving. Who is Tom?
Working at a legal aid clinic with disadvantaged people in crisis is more than just a job.
It's a reflection of my faith.
But can she juggle home and work?
All I want to do is just rest.
Or will she be forced to make a choice? Bill Thompson is a sweet middle-class idealist from the suburbs who's committed to defending the underdog.
Important kind of situation to try to defend the little guy.
Articling at one of Canada's top criminal law firms, he's about to enter a whole other world.
This is where the rubber hits the road.
Will his lofty principles survive the year?
I haven't become an alcoholic or anything like that yet.
Christine Wiseman is insecure but ambitious. She's the only professional in her working-class family. Now she's articling at a corporate law firm, but she's terrified the law's not for her.
I don't want to do it.
Her fiancé Kevin is in for a rough ride.
But Kevin!
If she quits, 4 years of blood, sweat, and tears go down the drain. In this episode of Almost Legal, Quinn leaves the nest and takes flight. He's pushing to expand the Ross firm.
We're considering hiring people who are brand new to the field as I am.
It's perfect.
And Bill steps into the ring to defend a first-time offender.
He's the ideal candidate to be rehabilitated.
Quinn and Aaron are finally moving out of his parents' basement.
I am looking towards the future at this point.
Swap the trailers out and we'll rock and roll.
Every night after work, every weekend, doing the house. So I've got a hearing on Monday. I can't dedicate all of myself to what I should be dedicating all of myself to, which is both projects.
Stand it up, your end goes up, Jamie's end
This
goes
is a
down.
big step, and very soon Quinn will take another one when he leaves the articling year behind and becomes a real lawyer.
Anyone a beer?
It's a new chapter for us both. We're going to be here for an extended period of time. We're going to make a home of this place. We've already put a lot of effort and sweat into it.
You know, every place should have at least one bathroom.
The stress of being an articling student is sort of fun and engaging. I prefer the stress of articling over moving any day.
Bill's client contacted his law firm from jail. He's already been convicted. Bill believes he got a raw deal. 18 months for stealing $50. He hopes to get his sentence reduced to time served.
Our client was charged with robbery, and he's a young first offender. He's Aboriginal, and he received a very severe sentence. And this is a situation in which we have a person who has never had any kind of prior contact with the criminal justice system. So he's the ideal candidate to be rehabilitated.
Mel Green, Bill's senior partner, has asked him to prepare a written argument that will persuade a judge to release his client from jail.
Basically, I've done up the first draft of the factum, which is the written argument that goes into the court, and Mel has reviewed it and has some suggestions. It's a little like getting a paperback from a professor.
It looks like a lot more revisions are in order before Mel can approve it. And getting it right is exactly what Bill needs to do if he wants to be hired back at SGM. Fresh out of the nest, Quinn hatches a new scheme for the Ross firm. He wants to bring 2 friends from law school on board and expand the firm.
Now you're suggesting that we expand even further.
I.e. my peers, my colleagues from school.
Yeah, it's perfect.
But Heather Ross is hoping to do less work, not more. She can't help questioning the merits of Quinn's proposal.
What do you think, Heather?
What do you see my role as being?
What do you see your role being as they come?
Good answer, counsel.
The role I see myself fulfilling is gradually getting out of the day-to-day grind of practice and performing the role of general counsel to the firm and mentor and teacher to the junior lawyers.
As long as it's gradual, it's your name to a certain extent, to a great extent, that continues to have the flow of people coming through our door from a monetary perspective on the cash side, which is important.
I agree with everything he said totally.
Well, I think it's important that we grow the law firm.
It's a pretty substantial undertaking. Do we have enough work to keep everybody productive? We're going to need new equipment. We probably will need more space.
We're going to move what our current critical mass is to a completely different level. And
whatever their misgivings, Quinn appears to have convinced his parents that his expansion plans have merit. But can their small-town law firm generate the required revenue? Because that's the bottom line. Bill is on his third draft of a factum he hopes will free a first-time offender from jail. The court date is looming, and time is running out for Bill to get it right. Mel Green, Bill's mentor, has been overseeing his work.
Round 3 now with
Round 3,
Alan?
yeah, but this is going to be the last round, I hope. I've looked at the draft you prepared again based on the earlier revisions. I mean, it's good, but we're faced with the same problem we had before.
Not exactly high praise from Mel.
So we've got 15 minutes to make our pitch, so I think we have to kind of get off the concreteness of quantum of sounds and move to the more abstract principles that I think drive the merits of this appeal.
Yeah.
What a Pucci robbery this was.
Sure.
About how small the amount of money that was taken, $50. We get that all in an opening paragraph. I think that's where we ought to slide it in. The thing is to be able to write in a fashion that's persuasive but still carries some punch. Okay, I'm around. I can give it a last read through. Hopefully.
Bill's got to churn out another draft quickly if he hopes to impress his senior partner. And that's the name of the game.
I wouldn't want to describe it as a slam dunk, but this is a strong sentence appeal.
Has Quinn's expansion plans cut Dad off at the knees?
Sometimes you'd hold your breath watching him.
4 young lawyers, 12 months, test by fire called articling. Bill's working on his first sentencing appeal. A first-time offender is in jail for stealing $50. It's up to Bill to get him out.
I wouldn't want to describe it as a slam dunk.
Stand it up, your end goes up.
Quinn's taking charge. He's moved out of his parents' basement, and now he's pushing for his friends to join the family firm.
What do you see my role as being?
His whole articling year has been one long tryout for Bill. His senior partners have been piling on the work to see if he can cut it.
Oh, this is much better than usual. There have been lots of days where I've just had to kind of skip lunch altogether. Part of it is that there's only really one of me, and there are at least 2 of the Mels and Franks that are passing stuff down to me. It's a pretty fast pace, so there isn't really a lot of time to be having big, hour-long lunches, sitting down, and nice conversations and things like that.
The pace is a little slower in a small-town law firm, and a lot more relaxed. Of course, it helps when your dad's the boss and your partner in crime.
Quinn and his dad have a ton of fun doing law together. They laugh and giggle. They're having a great time. If it was just the 2 of them, I don't know how much law would get done. I'm sure they would be fine, but I mean, they're having a great time doing it.
You look a little tentative. Oh, God. Quinn took this picture. It was probably 11 o'clock at night. There was nothing else to drink. I'm Rocco and Quinn's Vinny. We were going to court in Bracebridge. This was the morning that we set out for court. Hey, what's with the freaking doilies? Which was Quinn's comment about our Victorian B&B.
Look at this slant face.
Quinn was a great help to me that day, and it was really his first real exposure where we worked together. And it turned out to be a 12-hour marathon. In the end, we were very successful for our client, and everybody went home happy. We have identical winter coats that were on sale for $40 a piece. And when people see us wearing these things, they can't believe that any one person would wear them, let alone have 2 of us in them. We've done a lot of things together. I can't think of anybody that I've enjoyed spending time from, even as a child. With Quinn and I, we were always together doing things.
Hardy boy Bill has got to toughen up if he wants to be a good criminal lawyer.
So you want to be a boxer, right?
Yeah, I'd like to pick it up.
But before he can step into the ring, Bill's got to get in shape.
Pretty much the level of activity I've had for the last 6 months has been walking from my desk to the print for stuff.
Go. Go, come on. Right behind, go. 20. 50.
Oh, I think I'm going to be crippled until probably the end of the week.
Can Bill knock out an unfair sentence for his client doing time?
That's why I want to be a criminal lawyer. It's that kind of stuff that makes this a worthwhile job.
4 young lawyers, 12 months, in a test by fire called articling. Bill's been working a hard case. He has to convince the appeal court that a judge made a mistake.
It doesn't appear that he took enough consideration that this young man was a first offender. He's very young, that the prospects of rehabilitation were very good.
Quinn's ambition knows no bounds. He's convinced his parents to hire 2 chums from law school. Can Quinn turn the family firm into a big business? All Bill's work on the sentencing appeal paid off. The court agreed to release the young man immediately.
Gwen said that you were pretty excited when she talked to you to tell you what had happened in court.
Everybody stopped what they were doing and I was kind of facing away from them.
Yeah.
And then when she said that I won the appeal, I gave this thumbs up sign.
Yeah.
And everybody just erupted into cheers and I was like, wow. And then she said, Alex, are you still there? And I said, yes. And she said, well, that's the good news. And the better news is that you're going home today.
Mm-hmm.
That was almost the longest part of my sentence.
No, I can imagine that.
Those last 4 hours.
So that must feel pretty good then, to be back out and have contact with your family again. And
I got a little emotional, I guess.
Yeah.
My sister did too.
Mm-hmm.
So it was a good day. I thank you and I thank Mel for doing the job you guys did.
It's been my pleasure working with you. Yeah. And I'm glad everything worked out. And you'll have to keep in touch with us.
Yes, I will.
Yeah, you get Pride of Place is one of my first big cases that I've worked on.
Yeah. I was looking forward to this day for a long time.
Yeah?
Yeah.
It's gratifying to see, obviously, a person who found themselves in a very difficult situation and managed to turn their life around. To think that Mel and I contributed in our way to helping him do that. It's pretty gratifying. And that's why I want to be a criminal lawyer. It's that kind of stuff that makes this a worthwhile job.
Quinn shows the new associates, Jen and Ellie, their offices and welcomes them to the firm.
You're going to be as good or better than Heather Ross with that kind of client-centered approach, and you truly do have that gift, and it's an invaluable asset to the firm, and I can't thank you enough for giving it to us and allowing us to take advantage of it. So that's it. I just wanted to come in and boost your ego a little bit before we hand you another 15 files.
Jen has her work cut out for her, while Ellie has hit the ground running.
What are you working on? Doing a criminal case, of course. One of the ones we have here, going up to court next week on Monday.
Fantastic. It wouldn't happen that way if Paul didn't think you were able to handle it. That's a huge vote of confidence from him.
No, couldn't be happier.
The concern always is there going to be enough work to feed all the little birds in the nest rather than just the 2 old birds here.
We want to grow the firm and just make it a better firm. It's something that the older partners can gain from, really.
Bill's finding out that boxing is a lot like criminal law. As his trainer says, you have to be quick, ready to respond, and play the angles.
So if you have a good fighter, technically sound, quick on his feet, good movement, he's in and out because it's all about angles.
It's not just the fight that's similar. Both boxing and practicing law depend on solid preparation.
Good?
Yeah. People don't immediately realize that they visualize what goes on in the ring and not necessarily what goes on in preparation to get into the ring. And I think that's very similar to what goes on in practicing the law, in that most people visualize being a lawyer as arguing in a court. The one trial that I've had, there was maybe an hour that we spent in court making legal arguments and cross-examining witnesses and things like that. And to build up to that, there were probably 20, 30, 40 hours worth of research and preparation.
I'm looking forward to see the gleam in the eye once the bell rings and he gets in there, because it's a whole different animal.
Time.
Bill's holding his own in the ring, but will he be a contender at his law firm when the articling year is over?
I like your aggressiveness. When you had me on the ropes, come at me. And when you have me here, you pick your shots. It's tough, but it's how you find out what you're made of.
Yep.
So,
Thanks.
Bill's senior partners meet to discuss his future at SGM.
What do you think he's going to be like on his feet?
My sense is that he's having a hard time.
4 young lawyers, 12 months, in a test by fire called articling. Bill's taking an aggressive stance in the ring, but he's no heavyweight yet. Can he play with the big boys at his criminal law firm?
If there's the opportunity to stay, I'd certainly like to.
Quinn's friends have joined his parents' law firm. These 3 young lawyers have big plans for the future.
You're going to be better than Heather Ross with that kind of client-centered approach.
Every lawyer dreams of arguing at the Supreme Court, but few get the opportunity. Bill's been invited to observe his senior partner in action. He's thrilled to have the opportunity, a rare privilege for an articling student. Bill helped his senior partner to prepare to argue for a ruling that could prevent police from presenting false evidence to obtain wiretaps.
I had Michael as a professor, actually, at the U of T for criminal procedure. He's a brilliant guy, certainly one of the really great legal minds practicing in Canada now.
99% of articling students never get up here. It's certainly always been my view that if an articling student works on a case, they're entitled to come to court when it goes to court. It's not an invitation, it's a right.
After a long session before the court, Bill and Michael are pleased with how things went.
So how long do you think it will take them to come down with a decision?
It shouldn't be too long. 2-3 months. In any event, it looked like it went very well.
Yeah, I thought it went very well as well. But their sole basis was just that this is going to cost court resources, and that seems like a fairly limp argument for why you should be limiting the right to the full answer in defense.
This is an invaluable experience for Bill. Part of becoming a successful lawyer is who you know, and these guys pull some weight.
Really?
Quinn's convinced his makeover of the Ross firm has been a success, but Heather Ross is worried.
The concern always is there going to be enough work to feed all the little birds in the nest rather than just the 2 old birds here.
Paul and I actually had a discussion recently where we used the software to check new files. And the new file opening rate compared to the closing of files rate is exactly where it should be.
We've done about 2/3 more business in the same period of time, more files open than in the previous year. It's just amazing.
When it was just you and I.
Yeah.
I'm certainly enjoying the role that I've been able to play at minimum 1 day per week, and when I am simply available to each of you to discuss files, to discuss next steps, to answer any questions. So I'm really enjoying that role, to play more of a general counsel role to the firm as opposed to being out in the trenches litigating. So
I'll take the trenches for you.
All right.
Gladly. I love the trenches.
It's a deal.
And having you there instills us with the confidence to be in the trenches.
Frankly, Quinn, it's just a matter, I feel very comfortable ultimately, and not all that distant future if everybody decides, handing over the keys to you, because you definitely have all of the things that it takes to run the firm successfully, along with Ellie and Jen and whoever else joins on.
Okay, love you, Mom.
Bye.
Quinn's been handed an amazing opportunity. Time will tell if his talent matches his ambitions. Bill's future isn't so clear. Whether he's even hired back is a big question, one not taken lightly by his senior partners.
So, Bill.
Yeah. I was just trying to find out if he's had a taste of it now for 12 months, whether he thinks it's a lifestyle and a career that he wants, and he does, which is, that's a big part of the commitment.
I had a discussion with him in Ottawa about this. He does want to come back and work with us.
We got to figure that he's going to be capable of generating sufficient income through his own work to cover the nut.
But I then said to him, I said, I'm not sure in our particular circumstances for next year that we personally can afford you or need you.
What do you think he's going to be like on his feet? Because we've not really given him much of a chance to do that.
I've not seen the guy in court. He doesn't seem to have any performance neuroses?
I think he's got all the basic chops. I guess the test will be, and we haven't really given him a chance to do this, is how he conducts the cross-examination. I don't know the answer to that. You got the workings or you don't.
Sack-Goldblatt-Mitchell hasn't hired back an articling student in over 5 years. Can Bill beat the odds? Our 4 young articling students finally become real lawyers.
Congratulations. Thank you. This part's the easy part. I think I can probably handle walking across the stage and collecting a certificate from the treasurer of the Law Society.
I'm excited about practicing law with you.